Hi, sister. Thanks for submitting this for feedback. So I'm going to work through this and I will give you the feedback and I'll ask you some questions as well. So I see that starting here at the top, I see that your grade level is 7. Now I'm just curious, does this mean age 7 or actual grade 7? So when our students here in our country are grade 7, they're usually 13 years old. Just to clarify, if you could clarify that for me, that would help put some of this in perspective for me as well. And I see that um, this is for English, and that students will be reading some type of passage and comprehending. Your goal is for them to comprehend the passage, read it accurately, and to work on some vocabulary words. Now I see I had another student submit something similar in English. So my question for you is this how typically English lessons are structured? That you read a passage and then you move on to the next reading passage? That your English is not organized in units that might take some time. Let me just give you an example. So where for where in our schools students might spend a few weeks on a unit, that maybe they're doing an author study, that they would read many books about a similar author and work on comprehension through reading those books. For older grades, a unit could almost be considered reading a novel, and then working through a couple weeks for that. So that's how we would conceptualize an English unit. I'm not sure how it's done in your country. If it's something like this where you would work on a story and then the next story would is not connected to life in the desert, that's okay. If that's going to be the case, what may happen in this assignment is that you may have to focus on 2 reading passages and how you're going to measure learning through those, because I'm not sure if you'll have enough information from just one reading passage to be able to do this full assignment. As suggested in the assignment outline, a unit should take a few weeks to complete. So if you could clarify that for me, if you would let me know the structure of the English curriculum, that would help me conceptualize how you're going to fulfill this project. So I see a really good connection between what you have for knowledge and skills and what you came up with your learning targets. I know for the forum you only had to post 5 learning targets, but just remember for this this assignment you'll need at least 8, between 8 and 12. So let's take a look here a bit. I'm just going to move right down to the learning targets, and I see your first one. Students will read, pronounce, and state the meaning of new words. Okay, so what I recommend for this one is to divide this one up, as I see some different skills within the same learning target, that they have to read, pronounce, and state the meaning of new words. So I'm thinking you could probably make this into 2, that you could have students will pronounce new words or read new words. That could be one, and the next one would be state the meaning of new words, because in a way that's measuring something different. So it looks like that they would be vocabulary words. And when I hear the word state the meaning of new words, that's when I connect that to an assessment method. I'm thinking that would be some type of oral response. Okay, so I'm seeing this next one, which is connected to your top one, which then being able to state the meaning, that learners will be able to construct sentences using the new words. Okay, that one seems fine. I see that they're going to write sentences for this learning target. Now the next one, the students will read the passage quietly with good reading habits as they identify the new words learned previously. I see two here as well. The first one, students will read the passage quietly with good reading habits. Let's stop there. Now, when I hear that, when I read that learning target, I think, how am I going to measure this as a teacher? How do I know that they are reading with good reading habits while they read it quietly, which I'm assuming it's silently, that they're reading it silently. So you have to think about that. That one's tough to measure. I think, as I mentioned in my office hours last week, that would be a good one to do some self-assessment, that students could self-assess if they're using good reading habits. So learning target for that one possibly could be, students while reading the passage quietly or silently, students will self-reflect on their reading habits or something like that. That would be something that could work there as well. And then I see students will read the passage as they identify the new words learned previously. How are they going to do that? Identify those new words learned previously. You have to think about that. What you're going to have them do in order to identify that. That would be something separate if you would want to keep that. Now, the next one, students will be able to comprehend the passage well. So I see you're going to be measuring comprehension. So you'll have to some way rephrase that. I don't know what type, if they're going to be answering comprehension questions, if they're going to be answering multiple choice questions. You could write something like students will answer comprehension questions. That's pretty general, but that may work there as well. And then you have the students will explain how life is in the desert. When I see that word explain, I'm thinking again either orally or written for that one as well. And just thinking ahead, if you look on page 60, okay, for the different type of assessment methods that we have, from selected response, constructed response, to observation, to student self-assessment. I know through this assignment that you're going to have to use multiple different types of assessment methods, so you'll want to think ahead too for looking at your learning targets and what different types of assessment methods you're going to use. I know I'll see that in this past week's assignment as well. So again, this is a great start. If you have any questions, let me know. I know I asked you to clarify for me how the subject English, how the lessons are organized within your country, if you would let me know. Thank you.